All students need to build knowledge through building their vocabulary, but vocabulary is not necessarily generative. When you learn a word, you know one word, right? That's why words are so closely related to knowledge. The goal is to know as many words as possible because that would show that you know more stuff. The other academic language skills are actually skills that are transferable across many topics and contexts. So the students SLPs work with, they also need language repertoires that serve as knowledge carriers. Oral language skills, aside from the domain-specific vocabulary, are actually carrier systems. For example, sentences and discourse structures carry knowledge from the writer to the reader or from speaker to listener. And when generative language repertoires are acquired, students can apply them flexibly without much effort. In this diagram, the academic language skills, they pick up the knowledge along the way and deposit it where it goes. However, where it goes is immense. It's infinite because those are generative language repertoires. So while words take center stage, it's important that other academic language skills are taught alongside to make sure that the knowledge gets where it needs to go. All right, I'm going to take a quick transition here and just a few minutes to introduce goal writing. Now, it is one of the goals for at least US-based speech language pathologists who work in schools. They have to write IEP goals. And so it might be helpful to just review what those components are. I hear a lot from practitioners in the field that they could use guidance on how to write goals. So I've just kind of integrated it into this course. So goals are descriptions of what the student will do after intervention. Notice that I didn't say what the students will be able to do. It is actually what the students will do after intervention. So it means that you actually are measuring it. It's not a hypothetical construct like, yeah, they're going to be able to do that, like we do when we write goals or objectives for like professional development outcomes. But for these, we actually are going to measure the kids' performance according to these goals. And so we can just use the words will do. All right, so there's some good reasons why we need to write clear and precise goals. First, we need to have a clear basis for monitoring student progress. When we're writing observable goals, then we can monitor progress exactly like the goal tells us to do. We also can have a clear focus on for intervention, right? So good goals give professionals direction for how to intervene. And then third, clear and precise goals facilitate effective communication among team members. I'm sure you've gotten this IEP and have no idea what the last person meant by it. Well, if we have clear and precise goals, we won't have that problem. All right, so all goals should have 4 elements, regardless of the platform your district or your system uses. Now, I recognize that there are lots of differences, and in some ways you're going to be restricted by whatever system your school district uses. Even so, let's hope these 4 elements are options within them. Okay, so I'm going to break them down a little bit. Okay, let's turn our attention to complex sentences. So academic material relies heavily on complex syntax, and the sentence structures are considered fixed frames just like the discourse structures, just at a smaller unit of analysis. So we're going to talk about these as frames where we can, once they're learned, they're generative in that there are variable components to them. All right, so there are many different types of sentence frames, right? Our grammar is immense, and there are so many different syntactical structures used in academic material, but these 3 tend to be challenging for our students with language difficulties, and they may require intentional intervention and practice. These include adverbial clauses, transition words and phrases, and elaborated noun phrases. And if we can teach these 3 things, they're quite transferable to lots of different topics and content and show up frequently in academic material. All right, so we are at a point at which I have talked about the academic language dimensions that I would recommend SLPs focus their instruction on. Because those are the areas that are most beneficial to educational outcomes, right, for reading and writing. we can transition now to how to teach it. Now you know what to teach. How do we teach academic language? The short answer is we teach it the same way we teach other language skills. But there are a few simple guidelines I'm going to suggest that's going to maximize children's academic achievement.